Hello and welcome back to the NALCS Battle Theater, really the only place your eyes need to be today. I'm Rivington Vision III, and taking over here in the Battle Arena with me is Isaac Azale Cummings Bentley. I said arena, I meant theater. We're off to a good start. And jumping into our second series of the day, Cloud9 versus Echo Fox. And Fox will be looking to bounce back after a hard-fought loss last night to Team Liquid. That gives us our longest game of the split. So looking to minimize the time and maximize the strategy.
Yeah, definitely. That was about an hour-long game. It was definitely a doozy. Echo Fox is a team that has looked really, really good at times, particularly last week, first game yesterday. But they've also had some games where they have floundered big time. Game 3 against TL, they were massively ahead early, and they couldn't close. So they need to find consistency.
And they've got a tough battle ahead of them today as they face off against the #1 squad in the league. That is Cloud9.
Yeah, and Cloud9 continue to look good, but they definitely don't want to underestimate their opponents, Echo Fox, because Echo Fox have surprised teams, have a lot of versatility in champ select, and at their best, can hang with the best in the league.
It is absolutely true. We see these taking games to the late game, to those hour-long games. Hopefully they are finding their stride within those, and the win conditions will come a little bit quicker. Let's check out the starting lineups as we get into this one. On the blue side, it will be Cloud9. That means it's Impact in the top lane, Contracts roaming through the jungle, Jensen in mid, Sneaky at bot lane with his support, Smoothie, and Coach Reaper on stage for picks and bans.
And their opponents today, not to be overlooked, it's Echo Fox. In the top lane, Looper. In the jungle, Acadian. Mid lane, Froggen. In the bot lane, going to be Keith with support Gate. Tim Kiro here to help him with the coaching.
And it seems like almost trying to find their stride in picks bans to really get themselves something. We say they come out very strong, they can find themselves a lead, but it's still within the game. Then it seems like the roles or jobs of what everybody has kind of falls to the wayside with sometimes Looper getting things in the top lane to carry with, sometimes the jungle, always Froggen getting the champion he needs to prioritize. So I feel like once that irons out for him, things will be a lot smoother from picks and bans on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they have some advantages in picks and bans because they have some pretty unique champion pools. Right, Acadian has been playing Graves a fair bit. We see, obviously, the TF and the Anivia having to be focused from Froggen. So this does unlock more opportunities for other power picks and stuff for them. So they've been doing pretty well with that. Looper can play some good champions as well. So I think it definitely can help them. And they have to just not only get comfortable with their drafts, but with their execution in game, right? They have shown that they have fantastic early games, one of the best early games consistently throughout the league, even when they're losing. But it's holding on to that lead and kind of expanding that lead that they sometimes struggle with.
You wonder, you look at their CSDs at 15 and it's sometimes very close or very much above their opponents. So like you say, that those numbers are there. They just don't turn into anything for Echo Fox once they need to go around the map and create that macro. See if Cloud9 will be able to get their picks out of this picks and bans. They've always been able to kind of just fire down on that, give the other team something to think about, and make sure those 30 seconds have to be used very quickly.
Definitely do. And Cloud9 going to be able to take first pick Kha'Zix. This is one I think you can see Varus going first pick as well, but with Acadian on the other side, how good he is at Kha'Zix, I don't think you really want to give that over. Acadian did play the Nidalee yesterday, had a solid early game, but it's much harder to get involved later in the game on the Nidalee. You can sometimes kind of get relegated, especially when you're behind, to just throwing out spears, throwing out heals, and being somewhat helpful with the poke.
We saw the dive-ins, too, that he was trying to do when he thought a few of those would hit, instantly blown up once everybody's getting to 5-6 items. So I definitely see the trouble there that you're talking about. Fox saw that just a bit yesterday. Contracts looking at the Jhin, does lock that in, and Jensen will go ahead and say support for us. That's the Malzahar.
Makes a lot of sense. We're seeing the two kind of big ticket lethality AD carries. Varus is going to be locked in for Keith. He played it quite a bit yesterday to mix results. We've also seen quite a bit of Tom Kench coming out from Gate in the series yesterday. And that's something that they could elect to go with, but it looks like it is already locked in for that Taric. And Taric, Smoothie has been playing it a lot.
Loving it.
And he's been playing it into Malzahar. So this is kind of, I wouldn't say it's a counter, but it's something that deals with the Malzahar.
Right.
And is extremely strong in the mid-game and late-game team fighting. It also has great gank assist. The Nidalee can jump in. You can throw your W onto her, stun off of the Nidalee. So there's a lot of flexibility with that.
In a way, it's a personal counter, too, because Gate doesn't play Taric. I mean, I'm sure he does, but not in the spring split so far, so taking that away because of Smoothie's love of it recently, that'll help him. Swain, respected on top for Looper's play. And we still have a few more. Shen seeing much more of the ban phase now.
Yeah, I think you have to against Cloud9. Impact has just looked so good on it.
Scary.
Even if it's not what you consider the S-tier top laner for most people, he has made it work, and he has made it look so good.
He's done it. We saw it yesterday, the Maokai and the Shen. It didn't even matter. He played both very, very well. Nautilus being the next one banned out here as they focus a bit of the top lane. Tanks to say, Impact, what do you have this game? Because they know that a lot of force comes from that top lane.
And Impact has a lot. Traditionally, he has a lot of champions he could
seems
play.
Like they feel like it too.
Yeah, and I think they don't want to give up the Maokai because the next pick is going to be going over to Echo Fox there. You know, put Looper on something he's maybe a little bit less comfortable on and allow Impact to have a good matchup. The thing is, if he wants to play a tank now, you know, if you want to put Looper on Poppy, there's things like Gangplank and stuff available that could be picked up. You know, there's Rumble. There are some carry top laners that have been seen in the NALCS that Impact could be playing.
We did see the Rumble leap recently. I think that was Seraph that brought it out.
Seraph brought it out.
A lot of times, too, you're focused on playing these champions that revolve around the meta so much. Having that, you know, equalizer come into a fight on the screen throws off a lot of the team fights you've been practicing. So love those picks that come in. And we might actually see it happen right here.
Wouldn't surprise me. Impact definitely a solid Rumble player, and I think it can make a lot of sense with their composition. And I also feel like it's a pretty good matchup into the Poppy. Poppy obviously has very high base stats, can do a lot of damage, but once you still get to some of those kind of stronger items, once you get to your Leandries and things like that, it's very hard for the Poppy to kind of fight back. And you also have a lot of damage kind of going backline that can soften people up for the Kha'Zix to jump in there, right? You layer that equalizer down on the backline. If someone gets to around half HP, Contracts can very easily hop in and finish them off.
And I'm sure Impact is loving this. He's been playing the Knot, the Mao, a little bit of the Shen, but finally gets to play something that's really going to deal some damage back in that top lane. The Rumble's locked in, and Jensen gets Syndra. Something as well we've been seeing quite a bit on the ban list. We'll see what they answer with the Corki being out.
There it is.
Froggen has been tending to that a few times, but it's going to be the Anivia. Bird is the word once more. This comes in for, I believe, play number 6. So he has been going back to the Bird a lot this year.
Yeah, it's a Froggen special, and he looks great on it, so why not? It's also something that I think works in his favor simply because no one is as good at the Anivia really as he is, right? So it's like, if you're not scrimming Froggen's Anivia, you don't really get the same kind of practice, right? Where there's a lot of people that play Corki, a lot of people that play some of these other champions. So Jensen, if they haven't been scrimming against Echo Fox recently, you know, may not be as practiced for this matchup as he would like to be.
And the thing I was talking to Captain Flowers about just the other day when we were watching Froggen, sometimes it's not about like the fact that he plays it so well, it's that he can make you pull your hair out with the wall pathing.
Yeah.
When he puts walls down and you just completely walk back at him because it's completely cut off or have to go around, and that feeds right into the rest of Fox. It's awesome to watch, and we're going to get a whole game of it right now. In this best-of-3 series, we start off with that Syndra versus Anivia in the mid lane. We're going to have to be watching that as well. Impact gets Rumble in the top versus Looper's Poppy, so that could be pretty volatile. And we're starting to get less, I wouldn't say we had tank junglers, but less of them, way more poke. Now Nidalee's in with the Kha'Zix. It's going to be pretty good. I'm going to like this game.
Definitely. Cloud9's composition is one where I feel like they have to be ahead kind of thing. When you have no tanks, and especially
no tanks
whatsoever for Cloud9, and you're playing against not only Poppy, who's fantastic at diving, but Taric, who's incredible at enabling those dives with the invulnerability ultimate.
Very true.
If you fall behind, your team can crumble very, very quickly. So they want to stay ahead. They want to push the pace. There's a lot of volatile matchups across the board. You know, even Kha'Zix versus that Nidalee. If you fall too far behind on that Nidalee, Nidalee's going to be taking all your camps away.
I was just going to point that out too, because besides maybe sneaky hitting conditional, Deadly Flourish is Smoothie getting an ult, Acadian can actually run around in these fights pretty well. Not too much hard crowd control that instantly hits him.
Especially in combination with the Taric ultimate. You talked about how dangerous it can be to dive in there.
Yeah.
That does give you the opportunity to look for an assassination. You hit a spear on the back line, Taric drops the ult, you dive in and try to take someone out. So there's a lot of explosive potential from both these teams, and Cloud9 in particular is going to be looking to have strong lanes.
Also have to watch Froggen going with the Anivia again. They have the double teleport. Looper and Froggen can both be making plays together. As well, cross map late game to spread Cloud9 thin if they have the advantage by that time. Potions for Keith, biscuits for Sneaky. He's just dipping into his tea here as we start the game.
So Echo Fox looking for a little bit of a post up here by the red buff. It's become so common for teams to invade. And we actually saw Echo Fox get a first blood yesterday against Lorlo, because Lorlo kind of went and tried to get that ward, and they had a 5-man stack there. So, you know, you look for these chances, you look for these opportunities, you don't expect to actually get an advantage from them, but it's just, what's the opportunity cost? And it's very low. So they're always going to try to set up these death brushes and look to try to start something out. Gate can actually look for the stun now if he does face check.
Oh, okay. I didn't think he expected to see him that quick.
Yeah. Well, we'll back off, and you do have to respect the damage coming out there. Interesting that Smoothie is actually starting with the E level 1 instead of those Voidlings. That may have been something that Gate was not actually expecting either.
I didn't see that before. I cursed my brain for not being able to remember what we did. I think it was Matt that continued to level his E throughout the lane, throw it on the Malefic Visions, and just get a lot of damage down throughout that way.
I think it can be very good, depending on the matchup and stuff. And this may be an adaptation from Smoothie, because I actually much prefer the idea in the Malzahar versus Taric matchup of harassing the Taric. Don't actually try to get to the AD carry. Every time the Taric comes up to try to get a Targon charge or anything like that, you throw down your E on him, you get free autos off, because you can kind of have two people trading into him where only the AD carry from the other team can trade off. So leveling the E first makes sense with that thought process, and it'll be interesting to track if he actually does continue to level that up, as you said, some players have.
We'll definitely keep an eye on it. They've gotten Fox and, or I should say Keith and Gate pushed up to their turret just to start, and a little bit of warding so they can continue to do so. Nice job so far. Contracts will get the first bit of invading done here. Let's see if he actually finds Acadian. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, they both go for a ride. Red buff's on. He just needs another hit. Great stun from Froggen. Turns it around. Though there's no ignite there. Both the utility summoner spells. Contract gets out alive. Very scary for both junglers.
Very scary indeed. And Froggen quicker on the roam there. Gate gonna take a lot of damage here. This is what I'm talking about. Anytime he comes up, you focus the Taric and you burn through his pots. You push them in, and then you can make it so it is kind of these 2v1 situations. But we've seen how much damage the Kazakhs can put out onto Nidalee there. Thankfully for Acadian, Froggen was right behind and was able to land that stun, so it did result in a trade of flashes.
Like, they both kind of know. We'll both hurt. Everybody's going to be farming. Let's just go back into our jungle. We'll be okay. Gentleman's agreement. Great fight. Back to it.
Call a truce.
Yep. We'll see how fast they get back into these lanes. It slows them down a little bit, as they would probably be a lot healthier without that happening.
Definitely would.
Backs was just some damage, obviously.
The thing for Nidalee is, though, Nidalee has these heals, can stay out on the map, right? So Contracts had to base. Nidalee not only steals a camp away, is now looking for Jensen in the mid lane. But they did spot him, I think, through that vision, and you can see the question mark pings going down. I think he stepped a little bit too far forward earlier, and they now know he's there. So Contracts is actually coming up. They're going to try to bait this gank, I think.
Yeah,
Contracts is going to go up and be ready for the counter gank. Jensen is posturing.
Question mark.
All right, he's already gone.
Fog of War even got us. That's good. I always kind of say if something takes like 5 to 10 seconds, it's probably a good idea to walk away from it because it's just not going to go in your favor. They choose to do so and keep themselves safe. Jensen playing the bottom side of that was very, very smart. And they actually get some good damage onto Froggen, just pulling away from the big minion wave. So 28 to 21, we can see Froggen's massive minions there might crash into the turret, and that can start to affect this mid lane pretty well.
Yeah, it certainly can. This is one thing Cloud9 does really well, though, is try to keep the push in all three lanes. If you look across the map, Rumble's at the top lane turret. C9's bot lane is at the bot lane turret. Jensen is pushed up to mid lane. So it creates a lot of pressure across the lanes. It allows Contracts to invade and play more aggressively, because guess who's going to get to the fight first? It's always going to be Cloud9, and because the Echo Fox players are shoved under their turrets, and if they leave, they will not only lose the experience in the CS, but they'll also lose some turret damage.
Maybe they'll look for an Acadian to go back towards the top side. Risky dive on a Nivea with Egg still up this early in the game. Gonna have to have quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, and Contracts can do these things, though. Because Acadian took away his camps, he's attempting to try to get something else done, right? Acadian is getting quite a bit ahead as far as XP and camps completed because of that counter jungle and the fact that he full cleared his side. So Contracts is trying to lay in wait. He's checking bushes. He sits in there. If he face checks the Nidalee, he will crush the Nidalee. So that's what he's trying to do. And for Acadian is more just trying to track his opponent, find out where he is, not necessarily duel him, but take camps away and allow his laners to know where the Kazakhs is going to be at all times.
It's actually the consistency across the lanes here for farming, all 42s, 45s to just about a 10 CS lead over Looper, Froggen, and Keith in the bot lane here. Makes things quite easy when, as you said, you're the one that wants to move out of lane and the other team is cleaning up and doing janitorial duty on minions at the turret.
Junglers may cross paths here, though, as Nidalee was trying to take away another camp. And even just the little things, Acadian popping off the blast cone by the Dragon Pit means that Contracts can't blast cone into the Dragon Pit to do kind of like an undetected Dragon take, because you don't want to hop blindly in, because then you can get stuck there, right? So just little things like this can sometimes make a big difference, and you'll see a lot of the LCS junglers, when they are invading, just break all the plants in their opponent's jungle.
Yeah, taking away plants is definitely kind of an unnoticed thing that happens quite a bit. Could realize the play that would have been for people trying to escape.
Bot.
No movement here from Jensen just yet. He doesn't have minions to farm, so he's going to start heading down towards that Raptor side. Sneaky going very low. Cadian can't see past that, so he doesn't really want to dive it. Yeah, forward brush ward is Impact's right here.
He has the equalizer. This could be bad.
Throws it down. That's going to split the team. They still have a way to run. Whoa! Acadian gets hit by the Deadly Flourish. That's the heal coming in, and he will still go down.
He gets out with the blast cone.
Gate, I don't think he's going to make it out of this one alive. Cloud9 making it work here. Cross map. 4 people were in the bot lane for Fox. Cloud9 played it slow, played it methodical, and come out with 2 kills.
And that is so well done by C9. Echo Fox makes that roam, but they don't fully commit to the dive, and they're not respecting of the TP advantage that Impact had. Impact was winning his lane heavily enough that he's up in CS, up in TP. He comes down first, commits to this, and is able to get the first blood, which is going to put him so far ahead. And this was very nicely done. A lot of credit has to go to Sneaky to nail this Jhin W. Without that, they would not have actually been able to follow through for the kill. And then a little blast cone hit here from Gate. I think he was trying to knock Impact in further or something, but not only does he save Impact, he kills himself. So kind of works of both worlds there.
Very unfortunate. 2-0 now for Cloud9. Not what you want in the early game. Nope. Those kills going on to Impact and actually on a Smoothie as he picks one up with the support. That'll just help him a little bit. Nothing big there. Still a game for Fox to come through strong on. Acadian has been just trying to basically power farm his way through. Obviously getting a good amount of multiples from the Krugs and the Raptors. But we really haven't seen him too much other than that gank. I'm sure he's going to hang out in the jungle for quite a bit more time before we see him again.
Yeah, it's tough for him because if he goes in for a gank and Contracts is there for the counter gank, they're almost always going to lose. And his team actually has almost no lane pressure because all the C9 lanes are the ones with the pressure. Even if they're not massively ahead in CS, they're the ones shoving in their opponents. So it makes it really hard for Acadian to do much besides just try to track the jungler, get wards, counter jungle, things like this. But he is moving back down towards the bot side again and could decide to try to make a play around there. But Contracts waiting.
Ooh, quickly jumps away. Acadian still wants it. He's hunting him down. Didn't get basket onto Acadian, so the dazzle doesn't follow. Looks like Jensen's here just to kind of show power. Oh, they got Acadian stuck in Dragon Pit. Very close. Curtain Call can still bounce the damage. Just misses to the right side of the team. Final one's out of range, and Acadian gets out with a sliver of health. But we see Fox trying to come back. It's good for them that they are not kind of stalled out and making things happen, but Cloud9 is moving so that they do stall out.
Exactly. This is one thing that Echo Fox of old would not really be doing, is trying to make these plays. They do still keep up the aggression. Gate with a couple uncharacteristic mistakes. I actually think he's been playing fantastically well this split, but not throwing the Bastion, I guess it is, onto Acadian first, so Acadian could follow that stun onto Contracts. That would have been a kill had he done that. And he also kind of had the mistake with the blast cone in the bot lane, so some mistakes from him there, and they are going to cost you.
Impact might get himself into trouble here. Courtesy of a gank in the top lane. Acadian, again, back out from the fountain. We just saw him get pushed out of the jungle. He's going to try to get his team something back once again. There's the Future Verdict very, very early. Acadian hesitated on the release, or getting out of the bush, I should say. Still in. One more scrap shield coming up soon, but he's overheated. One last attack. Oh, the turnaround fadeaway from Acadian. They were almost playing Mr. Nice Guy and walked away without a kill.
Yeah, looked like they were almost not going to get that one. Big for Echo Fox to get it back, especially because they commit the flash. They know that Impact had committed his summoners in the bot lane, so they felt comfortable to go for that. Acadian able to pick up that kill for Echo Fox, but this does prompt C9 to start up that dragon, and we'll have to kind of track who's going to get more out of this. As Acadian's trying to clear out the topside jungle, he gets that kill, so it's immediate gold and XP for Echo Fox now. But C9 kind of has the delayed power of that Infernal.
Bot lane turret crashes hard, or the wave, I should say. They actually don't get any minions on it. Acadian, they say, right to the jungle, trying to get some things back. So a little bit for both sides. Nice hail of arrows. Cloud9 trying to grab horizontal kind of aggression on the lane as they go to ward. And Fox just wants to clear it out. Looks like they want to get back here and get some items.
That makes sense. Going to go for that buy as Sneaky is already pretty close to his Ghostblade. So is ahead as far as that combat power. And that's going to kind of happen to Varus as Varus needs to invest in the tier. And even early Lucidity boots, this is kind of interesting from Keith. Most people go straight towards the Ghostblade.
Right.
Having the extra move speed does allow you to kind of dodge out a little bit more and have the summoners up more often.
Very true. Also went was refillable, a little more damage. I should say he said the tier. He already had the long sword. Have to see some results from that bot lane of Box. Right now, Roam here from gate and mid. There's Sebastian onto Froggen. Will they be able to connect? The flash from the wall. The placement was there. Froggen just gets out. Believe he still has Egg. And the ultimate from gate. Very nicely done. Get themselves to safety.
And the egg can sometimes be a little deceptive about how safe you actually are. Although you do come back to get that second life, if there's not enough strength in your teammates around you to actually defend the egg, then you just end up dying a second time. And it's key that he didn't go down there because Gate certainly would not have been able to 1v2 keep his egg alive.
Froggen still has teleport, so does Looper. Matching impacts here will be the thing. Cloud9's on the move, and I feel like they're going to be the ones to make the play for us. Or maybe no, that's too dangerous with Fox having 2 up. So Cloud9 taking what they can. It's like a quick clear here. Contracts maybe to finish off a kill. Dodges the dazzle. It's actually going to be Fox, Gate, and Keith getting out safety there. But still, this pressure in the bot lane has been quite abundant from Contracts.
It certainly has, and this was a really nice reactive play from Contracts. Knowing that Gate just went mid, blew his exhaust, blew his ultimate, there's not much safety there for them in the bot lane. And he also kind of is having to make ganks work because you can see Acadian is out farming him pretty heavily. He's actually up 2 levels.
Yeah.
So tracking that experience is quite big.
Oh. Just toying around in the jungle. Impact is actually rotated here to mid, but he won't be joining the fight as he heads back towards the top side. Seems like they say, all right, we'll give Fox their blue buff. We'll go back to taking the lane's control. 130 to 114 in mid. Keith had caught up to Sneaky, but Sneaky again, as they push the lane out with Contracts every so often, really doing big things for themselves. That first Infernal Drake went to Cloud9. We're going to see a Cloud next. I think they might just have some turrets in the mid lane here before they actually go for that. Cloud9 has been pressuring real hard.
They certainly have been, and every time you shove in, you get a little bit more turret damage down. Those ranged minions chipping slowly away. You can see that bot lane turrets at about a 1/3 health. So you get 1 kill. It's very easy to knock that down and start really compounding that gold lead. And that's something that can be very easily overlooked. Just the turret health is a resource that's quite valuable.
And in kind of this situation, obviously Dragons changed a while ago, but you would see that Nidalee might be able to focus Cloud9 for going to the Cloud Drake. But if they're not going to go Cloud Drake, how do we see Fox kind of grabbing their way back in here?
I think it's really kind of just more of the same that Acadian has been doing. He needs to continue to control his opponent's jungle, continue to look for gank opportunities, and keep his farm very, very high. Because Nidalee can really farm like an absolute monster. Will farm faster than that Kha'Zix. So being able to get a lot of that done is pretty helpful. Because we have to remember, they have the more kind of standard 2-tank composition. Their team fighting should be more easily executed than Cloud9's. It's more on Cloud9 to make plays happen, and it's on Echo Fox to stay relevant in gold and keep farming.
Well, still quite close in the gold aspect. Farm is starting to drift a little bit. Actually coming back, I should say, for Looper with Impact rotating from lane to lane. It's just really been Froggen that found a lot of pressure in the mid, and he's even brought it back up. 2 to 1 here, 16 minutes in. Gate trying to get some wards out as he walks over a few of the captive audience. It'll let Cloud9 know a little bit of information here.
Yeah, I think we can expect to see some sort of action in the bot lane here pretty soon with how low that turret is, unless Echo Fox is okay with just giving it up. I would be surprised to see them do that though, as this turret is really low. So next wave or two, it's going to go down for sure for C9. So you either have to see a play around the bot side, or Echo Fox just has to accept that they're going to give up that first turret gold, and I think they're going to want to make a play.
There's the storm down, kind of alerted in there. Gate was already on the
bot lane's coming up.
Teleport coming in as well. That's going to be on the side of Contracts just behind Red.
Oh, nice stun.
Up against the wall. Very nicely done, as you say. And that teleport from Looper was much faster, expecting that to come out. I was going to say Froggen or Looper, which one first? But do they hold him until Impact does? No, they don't. They want to make some moves themselves.
C9 still gets that first turret though, so they are going to get a lot of gold back, and it's on Echo Fox now to get something else from the kill on Contracts. That was very nicely done from Looper, very quick on the TP, and that flash stun onto Contracts, but minions cleared out, Impact pushing top side. They always have that minion push, and they're going to actually lose 2 turrets for the kill, so in the extended trade, really not worth it, especially with Looper getting denied that base now. This means that Impact is going to push in another wave. So all of this experience and gold is going to be lost, and it almost forces Echo Fox's hand at starting up the Dragon, but Impact has time to base and get back with a TP, so it kind of means that it's just going to be C9's Dragon probably too.
You do see that Fox has the wards for it. If they decide to go back, it's definitely going to be one hell of a fight. They don't have much poke other than Acadian, and everybody else has to follow up besides that. Corrupting, or chain of corruption, I should say. Still can see a big outplay. Gate could throw off that ultimate and get Contracts and the rest of the team to engage on something a little overboard. That's really one of the things they can hope for, that Cloud9 has to make a mistake at this point.
It certainly is, because if you do commit as this full damage team and the Terrak ultimate comes down in time, you can knock down these players very, very quickly, you know? You can kill them off pretty fast, but it's tough for Echo Fox to make a move around that Dragon because Impact has TP advantage, right? Looper TP'd down, they lost turrets off of it, they wanted to make a play, but because C9 has all these pushing waves, they're losing a lot from it.
Fox had to see that Corki ban coming from Cloud9 in the beginning of this one. Definitely helps Cloud9 to stay healthy at these turrets. You know, Keith's going to be in a lane, Acadian will be there. It's never Acadian and Froggen on Corki. It's Acadian and Anivia, which is much less potent.
And look how smart this is from Impact. So Impact actually ults out the wave, knowing that Echo Fox is going to give up the Dragon because they don't have TP. He says, hey, you're going to send your guys top. There was 4 Echo Fox members coming top. He had already ulted the wave and left. He had basically outthought them, and he's 30 seconds ahead of that play. So that's very smart stuff from Impact with that wave down. He denies the turret pressure, allows them to get the jump on this second turret. Little things like this are why Impact is incredible.
Don't have to listen to much that he says other than top die, and then he shows up in your lane with his being already pushed up. It'd be easy for Contracts to fit in the position and get to play with somebody in the top lane like that. Jensen in the mid lane, it's got to feel good. And we do see, you know, Impact had even Ray come in this year with somebody behind him that may be taking that position, so he's playing like he wants it.
He certainly is, and you know, there are 2 guys who can help to push each other and actually viable subs. You know, a lot of the teams do have people listed as sub positions who are not really ever going to play on the LCS stage, whereas Ray is a guy who was an LCS starter. He's a great carry player, and they can hopefully learn from each other and kind of improve each other's play. That's the kind of thing that Cloud9 will be looking for. But you know, as far as all these great players that Contracts gets to play with, yeah, it has to feel pretty nice as a rookie coming into a team. All your lanes always seem to be winning. You pretty much get to do whatever you want. And that's an incredible position for a jungler. And he's going up against Acadian, who has really looked amazing as another rookie jungler. This is some of the best rookies we've really ever seen.
I think we kind of heard that from when like Cloud9, Cloud9 High, Meteos, and those guys stepped on when people were saying like it's easy to be a mid laner when your jungler is crushing everything, when Meteos was zacking everybody. It's funny to hear those in different iterations as the time goes on.
Oh, Sneaky getting caught.
There's the knockdown. Sneaky, one more hit. He goes down. That's Froggen's first pick up there besides the assist, so good cash in his pocket. No, they don't have much in the way of minions worked up here, so still power in numbers has to be used for Fox if they want to get any more.
It's kind of the Froggen special. He seems to always get at least 1 pick around mid lane, hiding behind those mid lane walls, and the flank coming in. Jensen, oh wow, flash forward for Looper.
Flashing in, Gate's going to be taken down as the fight also goes up top. Ultimate down from Gate, looks like they save a bit of damage. They still have to follow up on Jensen. Pings to the mid lane. Probably coming from Impact and the rest of the team saying we need to get this. Teleport's actually going to come back, however, so that Froggen can protect the mid lane. So really nicely working Cloud9 around here. But is Keith and the rest of the team safe enough to run through their own jungle? The vision has not been set up. A lot was around the mid, and Cloud9 was already doing that vision work before.
This is just such an overchase from Echo Fox. They so desperately want to get this kill that they've committed to, but Jensen already had his ghost up. He's kiting for so long. Great, you eventually killed him. You lost your AD carry. You lost your AD carry summoner. You lost your support, and they lost damage on the mid lane turret. So it just feels like C9 is thinking ahead.
Just caught that spear and gave it back to him.
You cannot face check a Kha'Zix. It's so tough for Acadian in that 1v1 matchup. You know, he has been doing very well, but if you do end up in a straight up fight against him, it's going to be tough.
Equalizer's up. He can cut them off. They actually saw a teleport coming in, I believe. Yeah, he stopped it. Looper actually cut that off for himself, so they were able to fend off the mid lane turret. We'll see this. Foray once again.
Yeah, here it is once again. The Chain of Corruption coming out into that stun from Froggen, and it's something that they love to do. They're always setting those up, and then fast forward to Looper coming in here. They're going to go for Jensen as he gets separated, but this is when it turns into way too much of an overchase. And trade of flashes, nice quick flash there from Jensen, or he would have died right away. But they're fully trying to commit to this. Gate gets left behind, he goes down, and now you're still chasing. Well, Impact already is gonna start shoving up mid lane here. You can see they're saying, hang on that turret. Jensen's just trying to basically buy time. Contract, knowing that they will come back around to the mid lane turret, they have to rotate around. He's saying, you know what, I'm gonna wait here. I'm gonna wait for someone to come in. Keith gets not only a kill, but loses flash too.
Yep. And then Contracts took out Acadian seconds later over by the Raptor Brush.
Stuff. Kha'Zix's pretty good.
Yep, Acadian's been farming the jungle a lot. Contracts has been farming Acadian. Nice steadfast presence, but it may be another champion CS in favor. No, goes down. Impact's on the other side to cook him up, and it is now going to be the chase on to Gate and Looper. They're going to slow down as the heal comes in. And Acadian, as we said, he just came back up, back down, and that was his flash as well. So it's even more dangerous for him to try things.
Gets caught again, you know, Smoothie able to land that Malzahar vault. They have the vision around there, and as Echo Fox tries to come in as a two-man squad to get that vision back, C9 just kind of had a stronger squad waiting, and Impact's able to make the roam, finish off that kill.
These builds look painful too. Two Leandries just burning your life away. Pen damage that they're hitting you with. You don't have much magic resistance yet. I'd say Froggen does with his Abyssal Scepter, but we'll see if the rest of Fox can stay alive. Acadian's been taking some hits. His Merc Tread's trying to keep him alive and out of what little CC has been coming from Cloud9, but it seems to be too much, even with that. Let's see where they go from here. Froggen to clear waves, and they're back to kind of playing the Fog of War game here and see if they can get a pick off a stun.
Yeah, they kind of are relegated to that right now because it just feels like Cloud9 is the ones in the advantage. They're the ones pushing the pace. And, you know, to your point, having all that spell pen, not just the Leandries, but the Sork boots on both these guys, that's a ton of spell pen. So for any of the no MR targets, you're going to die almost instantly. And that's why Keith has to pick up a Hex Shrinker here. You have to show that respect, not only to just the spell pen, but also to the flat up amount of burst that Syndra and Rumble can do to you.
C9 now starting to control resources, deeper wards even onto the side of Fox, making things very, very difficult. Back to the Fog of War strategy in mid lane as they hover that top side brush. It worked once, may work again. That's when you get your enemies saying, they won't do that. Nobody does it twice. We'll do it 3, 4 times, 5 times.
They certainly will, and they're also kind of trying to threaten the fact that they could be up towards Baron, knowing that C9 is doing the Dragon. That said, I think there's that C9 Trinket Ward over sitting in the Baron pit, so that kind of play will never work unless you have fully cleared out the Baron pit, and Echo Fox didn't do that, so C9 will not even check.
So scary. Each time they're approaching this turret, last time it was 3 minions, and they went for the fight. This time it was only 2 minions. See how hard it is for Fox to approach these.
This is why you always need a ward in the Baron pit when you're trying to do these sorts of plays, right? They're trying to play around this vision to get people to check in, but Cloud9 knows they're not even there.
Big split. Froggen towards the top. Ultimate has to come out. That's an obvious continuation of the fight for C9. They see that go. They're even more hungry. Teleport is going to be stopped, I believe. Looper didn't take that one. Or that was Froggen, I should say.
Yeah, they both actually TP'd. Yeah. I mean, Looper canceled his TP, but Froggen TP'd to the mid lane turret. He was never going to be there.
Over. Nope, Hotfoot takes down Acadian once again. And they know they're kind of just waiting for this one. And Cloud9 to put the stranglehold down even harder. Keith goes down in the top side. And Cloud9, they have actually been pushed back a little bit, so they won't be getting too much off of this, but it just gives them more control of the game overall, every single time.
Well, and the question is, do they just try to do the Baron at this point?
Yeah.
I think they may not want to risk it because they feel like they're in such control anyway. But with 3 members down, they certainly could have threatened it had they wanted to. Froggen looking to set up a pick here again, though, as Impact and Contracts looking to push that top.
How good does it feel to be Impact with your teleport up to both down? Somebody has to come up to you, and you know you can get to that fight before anybody else now, so, or at least that opponent. Mid lane's the focus, out of the fog of war, Youmuu's, and a little bit of Jensen just running. He does not have Ghost up, so there could be a potential catch here. It doesn't seem like they want to give up just yet. Jensen's flash is up if he has to get over the wall, but he goes down before that can happen and holds it. Summoner heal came from Sneaky to try and get him out, and there goes his heal as well. So things get a little sticky here for Cloud9 as we go forward. But with top lane Impact crushing down, there's just too much for Fox to think about before they can retaliate.
Exactly. Cloud9 just plays the map so well. Even when you get those kills, it turns out you're still kind of behind on the play. So they're trading turrets so far, top tier 2 for the mid lane tier 1. But now you have to base a 4 Impact with that red buff working away on the inhibitor turret. They're going to see if they can maybe cut him off or at least get some vision back, but they may not realize that Contracts is in their topside jungle. So if Keith and Gate walk up through there, they could be in for a rude awakening.
Bad news bears. Looks like they're going to head downtown, just to the mid lane. Ocean Drake is next. It would really just be a consolation prize right now if Cloud9 were kind of coming back from that side of the map. Wards by Fox can set them up for something. They have wards on the bot side, even though Baron's kind of the effect here. So if somebody's going for red, they may be able to find that pick. The little things here that they're still trying to keep in the option book. Right now, the option book completely opens for C9. They're going to be popped out of that one. There's a trinket right in the back.
Definitely one thing Echo Fox has done really well this game is continue to get down wards, right?
Yeah.
You know, Acadian and Gate have had a lot of wards out on the map. They have great offensive wards in Cloud9's red side jungle. They have some defensive wards around their top side. So they have done a good job maintaining the vision control. The problem is just, it doesn't really matter if you can see what your opponents are doing if you can't do anything about it.
This is a good point.
You have to be, you know, strong enough to capitalize on what they're doing, but it's like, okay, great, Contracts is over there. Can anyone go fight him? Oh, not me.
You're just waiting. You can view the inevitable.
Yep.
You're like, actually, no. We need to send at least 2 or 3 people to the top lane. That's kind of how big Impact has gotten at this point. Zanya's as well. Even more of a pest to kill.
Yeah, and he has the Void Staff, which means he can really start punching through Looper. You know, he has the Flat Pen, so he can destroy the squishies, and he has the Void Staff, so he can deal with the tanks. So Impact really has it all right now, and no one can kind of answer him. And it's kind of funny to watch Impact. You know, you've seen him do it on the Shen. We've seen him do it on the Maokai. Now he's like a split push Rumble. He just moves around the map better than his opponents, and Cloud9 plays around it really well.
He does very, very small things in lane. If you are able to watch him or watch him stream, that give him those advantages, and then he can capitalize so hard. He doesn't let them go to the wayside. He uses each and every one to its maximum ability. Here, Looper trying to push him off bot. Jensen, the top lane cleaning up, so this may be one of those chances to catch, but Cloud9 plays it safe. They yo-yo the aggression of Fox backwards, and everybody stays alive in what could have been a bad situation.
Yeah, the 4-man squad of Cloud9 plays very well around both the kind of 4-1 split that they're doing right now and the 1-3-1 that they do a lot with Jensen when he's on, you know, his echoes and his fizzes and things like that too. So they're very experienced with this, and Looper can chase off Impact, but Impact gets the blue buff, and he is always going to be the one who can also make the roam to the rest of the team faster since he had pushed in his opponent.
Yep. Also doesn't hurt that he can scrap shield across the map nice and quick.
He's pinging right back to the inhibitor turret, so Impact is just going to go right back at it. Shove in Looper, try to get that damage down, and you know, if too many people from Fox commit up here, Cloud9 can start the Baron, Cloud9 can threaten fights elsewhere.
So kind of an interesting question. If we don't get a fight here, might have time to answer. Looking at how Cloud9 plays, they're kind of strong with everything. What would you attack them in picks and bans with? Kind of what would you look at?
I think it's really tough. Your only real chance, in my opinion, against a team like this that can play so many different things is to just go for what is most comfortable for you, right? You kind of have to forget about what they can play, because Cloud9 is going to play what they're going to play, and they've shown so many different styles. Yeah. You can't really ban Impact off a decent champion. You can't ban Jensen off these champions. So, in my opinion, you just have to go to comfort. You play what your game is, and you play it the very best you can, and you hope that's good enough. Because we've seen teams throw 5, 6 bans at one roll, you know, like between the two teams, and Impact's on his 6th top laner, and well, it turns out that's Shen, and he's still going to crush you.
We do see, you know, that happens for Froggen. There's the Anivia. I'd say that's pretty comfort for him. Acadian back on very aggressive, whether it's Nidalee or not, that is his top pick. He gets to play that assassin-like jungle position that he so enjoys.
Certainly does.
They're trying to activate now. Froggen and the rest of the team looking to hit
it
up.
Nice catch.
Spell hit onto Smoothie. Flashes over the wall. They almost hurt each other with that. But they close the distance. Gate gets caught. In comes Contracts, and he signs away Gates. And this is going to be Keith getting knocked out now. Hexdrinker goes down, but that's a whole lot of damage. Just magical. He goes down. 38 seconds on those death timers. Summoners as well being blown to get out of that one. Impact with that Zanya's. No, he still goes down with the last tick.
Really nice wall from Frog, and he
Yep.
zones out the opponents, and he keeps in leash range for his ult, so he can get those last 2 ticks and get impact back. And that was a key pick, because 5 versus 3, they could have gone for something big. They could have tried to force something down, go Baron, whatever, but you get that kill back, at least it's not a disaster, and you can fend them off the Baron. You know, and that said, back to the discussion about how to attack C9, at the end of the day, you know, you can get whatever draft you want, but it comes down to gameplay, and Cloud9 is successful because they're both good in the draft and at execution, right? So you have to be able to win these lanes. You have to be able to find weaknesses and things to attack about the team, and right now, they just have not been showing many of those.
Honestly, it's been, I'm not to pick on Jensen, but when we've seen the 2 Azir plays from them, CLG and Dig, are those 2 games they lost. Not series, obviously they're undefeated in the series, but those 2 games went down with those picks, and we haven't actually seen Azir come back for the team, the composition that they don't play around, so it might have been the trouble, and they stay right away from those things as soon as they find it.
They do. Well, right now, Fox has been kind of just going back to their tried and true. They're trying to play a vision game around Baron, trying to get picks, and they're trying to do this time and time again. But Cloud9, you know, is kind of controlling waves. At this point, they're going to be pushing towards Cloud9, so Echo Fox has gotten control of the side waves. They will be able to have a little bit of time now to try to make a play.
Target in front. That's the wall down. The team trying to get together still.
Impact has equalizers that go through.
Ultimate goes down quite early to try and save the team, but they're already off, and now the damage can follow through. Impact really can't get the team. Flash forward, dazzle onto Impact. Sneaky is unloading onto Gate in one shot, almost all of his health with that last round. Gate in the pit, that's not where you want to be. He goes down to an angry Baron. Looper's gonna get locked up. Steadfast presence keeps everyone on the outside, but I think they have the damage. No, he flashes forward, gets himself to safety as Contracts tries to spike in one more time. Cloud9 is fighting, but bleeding to death, and they're still going in. Both teams walk away from that somehow. Just Gate.
Froggen has been able to get so much damage down on these team fights to keep his team alive, to stop the Cloud9 chase, and keep able to hit a lot of piercing arrows there to push Cloud9 back. So it does end up being, you know, just the support going down in what was a very extended trade.
It's been this push up towards Baron that Fox can really only start to dance with. And it's not even in their favor. It's what they need to do to try to get Acadian some hits, some Keith some hits, and then it's got to go in their favor after that. It's all easier said than done.
It certainly is, but one good thing for them about that exchange is they got the bot lane turret because they had the wave shoving. So that was one of the first times they really did have the wave advantage, and now they've seen Contract sneaking in. They're going to try to wrap around behind him and pick him off.
Edge of Night being used, pops one, that's off now. Keeper's Verdict goes down. If they can take down Contracts, that's a lot of DPS they don't have to be afraid about. Baron is still a very scary thing, but more so on the table to fight for.
They really
oh my god, never.
They're really not rolling over
They play well from behind. Even if they come up short on all these kills, they're still trying, as you said before, and they're still doing it well.
Exactly, they're going right back to it, and now with the jungler down, they may just start this up. They're going to try to rush it. They have tanks, but Jhin ultimate opening up here. Keith needs to get blocked for these shots.
This is that go for broke play. You know you have the moment. They've been looking for this opening. There's the ultimate from Gate. Keith on the outside gets taken down immediately. This is a huge fight. Baron goes to Frog, and Echo Fox has it. Acadian's out. He wants the lane's presence with the Baron buff. That's going to be Looper. Cloud9 is cleaning up this fight. And smart of Acadian to stay on the outside, but C9 should be able to just power through the lanes here.
C9 gets so much from that. The 4-for-1 in the extended trade. The Baron did go to Echo Fox, but really a huge mistake there was the fact that most of Echo Fox was not actually standing in Gate's ultimate. So while the ultimate was active, it should have been active on their entire team. Keith actually gets pretty much 100 to 0'd by the Syndra, while that ultimate should have been on him. Instead, they weren't stacked up. They don't have the ultimate down. They lose the fight. They're going to lose the inhibitor, and probably topside as well, because that inhibitor turret is still so low.
Belt forward. Oh, one harpoon. Next harpoon, not going to be coming out. He's burning. Looks like he's going to live, though. Froggen still with 12 seconds, along with Looper. They went down at just about the same time. And like I said, Cloud9 powering down the mid lane. See what Acadian can do with that Baron buff, and we'll see the fight again.
So track this Taric ultimate. You need to be stacked so that you're spreading the ultimate onto multiple people. Gate realizes they're taking a lot of damage. He does drop it, but look at this. Acadian and Keith are not there. Looper moves over. None of these guys get this. Now look, Keith dead while the ultimate should have still been active on him.
Yeah.
So that's a big mistake. You know, Looper, Gate, whoever you want to pin it on, someone needed to be moving with the rest of the team, and they needed to have that be a 5-man ultimate. It would have given them the extra time to finish the Baron, still be at full health, and then try to turn for a fight.
Honestly, it's the presence of, I want to save my team, because they both wanted to block the curtain call coming in with their bodies, which put the ult on both of them already.
And that could be something where you're not experienced with Taric, right? Like, if you play a lot with Taric, you know, all right, ult's dropping down, I got to get in that, right? Yeah. So it's on both sides of the team, and that could speak to the fact that they don't play a lot with it.
That's true. We do see this being Gate's first pickup. Smoothie with about 4 plays on it. So this was definitely a takeaway, kind of saying, hey, yeah, you need to play something else. Taric's been too strong for C9 and may not work out here. We've seen some missed bastions as well coming in on that play. Impact still wreaking havoc on this top lane right now. And Elder Drake's going to be next on top of 4 Drakes. If that's ever in the hands of Cloud9, we'll see this one end quite fast. Impact, Zanya's. No time. He got popped.
Froggen gets another catch with the wall. He's been really the saving grace for Echo Fox this game. He has been on fire, and Looper's trying to wrap around. They want to make a big play onto C9 here.
Gonna look for Jensen. No, he actually locks up onto Looper. Sorry, onto Smoothie. They're still gonna be walking out of this one. So Smoothie will be the hit. Unfortunate wall coming out. Does not lock him in. And now they're gonna have to back up on this one. So they're picking up things here and there. It's slowing down Cloud9, which allows Fox to get a little bit bigger, especially for Froggen, because Anivia can definitely do some damage and stop C9 from getting into these bases. We remember CLG EU. We remember.
Definitely do. Echo Fox bot lane honestly has just been a pretty big liability this game. Gate is normally not someone I'm saying that about. I think he normally plays fantastic.
Right.
Keith does get a lot of criticism, but this is tough. They're not contributing much this game.
Uncharacteristic. Gate's that guy you think about, and he's the one that can fit into jungle, to top, to mid if he needs to for that sub position we've seen him do before. And it is not coming to that point this time.
It's also a tough spot now for Echo Fox with Cloud9 having 4 dragons and then having none. They can't give up Elder, but taking Elder also doesn't give you much. So Cloud9 can play well around this. They can continue to threaten the Elder take with the inhibitor down. People from Echo Fox must respect those super minions. And Echo Fox essentially cannot give this up or they will lose the game because that's way too much true damage burn that they'd get from 4 dragons.
I was gonna say, risky move by Froggen. The team was setting up, not for a huge fight, but he gives himself up, and they know that Fox is already on the bottom side of the map, so they're much slower. Cloud9 won't be face checking anything.
It's some of those plays that really have kept Echo Fox alive, though. Froggen is making some risky moves, but he also feels like he has to. He needs to get picks to slow down Cloud9, to give them opportunities to both defend their base, take the Elder Dragons and things like this, because they're down a lot of gold. And you know, he knows he needs to be a playmaker because he's one of the few people with a lot of gold on his team, right? You know, he is only 1 item away from being full build. Pretty comparable with where Jensen is at as far as his build order goes. So, you know, he's a pretty strong member of the team right now.
Quite a bit. Most for him, that's for sure. 14-8 on his team. Smoothie going down here.
There you go. Who else but Froggen?
Yep. Walls him up. This is what we were looking for. This late game, you want to get extended just a little bit. The ward, or the wall comes out, I should say. And I should say you become a ward. It's right on the ground. 40 minutes on the clock. Elder is being started up. Smoothie's not here. He had the exhaust.
Back on the side.
Slowly creeping in. Equalizer onto 4 members. Gate gets burned immediately. The ultimate goes off. It lands on the rest of the team. And they're going to be able to get out to some safety, but not with the Elder Drake. Not what they came for, and that's the big deal.
Definitely not, and Gate not able to actually stay alive until his ultimate did fall down. They really wanted to try to force something here. Cloud9 easily pushes them off, though, and now Echo Fox must collect the minion waves in the middle, try to get their waves pushing. They do have top lane going for them, so they could try to return back to that Elder Dragon and try something again. We'll see if they can make it work.
Impact consistently 100 CS over his lane opponents. Yesterday he did it as well. Absolutely crazy play from him. He just continues to also keep himself measured in these fights. He doesn't say, oh, look at this. I'm 100 CS up. I have 4 kills. I can kill anybody, because that's what starts to turn on you instantly, and the other team can really start to get a lead.
Yeah, that overconfidence really can come back to bite you, as you're saying. You know, you get tagged by 1 stun from Froggen there. They have a lot to follow it up. If you get hit by a Chains of Corruption, there's the Dazzle, there's the Anivia stun, there's the stun from Poppy, and there's a lot of bursts. So you need to play with respect to your opponents no matter how far you are ahead. And he's quite a bit ahead as he just completed his death cap. And I mean, we saw how much damage the Rumble ultimate did in the last fight. Anytime he gets a good one, Gate pretty much already has to have his ultimate coming down or they'll die before it lands.
Moving his 3. Trying to get some control ward locked down.
Ooh, got contracts.
Dazzle, he's down. No way he's getting out of that one. Hail of arrows comes through, but it's Frog going to capitalize on the kill. Beautiful equalizer to keep Fox where they want them, but Cloud9 hasn't really walked through for that equalizer. They didn't want to get through the brush and have Fox have the upper hand.
Zonias, they're going to follow it up.
Good flash by Impact, gets it out. Keith needs to make himself scarce in this situation. Looper goes down, but it's the GA. Does Fox have enough time to give him a backline shield? He flashes, but it's an immediate nether grass from Smoothie. No time to blink on that one. Scat of the week misses, and Keith is running for his life with a flash over the wall to safety. And Cloud9 once again sees the fight, weighs Fox, and counters everything they have.
Yeah, again, Gate ends up getting picked off there. Not sure exactly what did come down and kill him, but he wasn't able to get the ultimate off. It wasn't up for the initial fight, but it did come up later, and he actually died there to a bouncing grenade from Sneaky after getting that fourth shot. And that is so big, as going down without that ultimate is really brutal for them. They're going to have to try to stop C9. They know they can't give up the Elder, but they have no vision.
Cadian, no mana. Can't really pull out the javelins to do some damage. Could have gone Cougar for him, but that would have been his own death sentence. So there's the 4-stack Elder Drake now. As we take one more look at this, Fox still trying to initiate. They had a great hit, and somehow Cloud9 sees the opening.
Yeah, this is just a great pick from Echo Fox to start off the fight, but a lot of retaliation damage onto Froggen, right? He's already quite low. They're putting a lot of damage out, and Gate at this point didn't have his ultimate, but now it is up, right? Gate goes back forward to try to get this pick onto Impact, and look at Sneaky. Fourth shot, bouncing grenade, not only takes him out, but bounces the grenade to Keith and Froggen. They take a lot of damage there as well, and really Gate should have been popping that ultimate before he went back in. This could be such a different fight, but it's been these small mistakes from Echo Fox that have really cost them and kind of kept them from capitalizing on the picks when they get them.
Smoothie over the wall there really turned Fox.
Oh God, look at this equalizer.
Oh, Cadian! He gets his own Zanya's down, but this only gives them time to pile on. Dazzle back, Chain of Corruption's a lot of offense being used in defense, if you will. And that leaves Fox really hung out to dry at their base. Baron's going to be going over to the favor of Cloud9, along with that Elder. They have just about everything on the map right now.
They certainly
a few more turrets, inhibitors, and that's it.
That 4 Dragon true damage coming out from the Elder Dragon, plus the already ridiculous amount of damage from Rumble's Death Cap Equalizer, means if you're in that, you're pretty much dead. Froggen essentially died twice to the same Equalizer with his egg going down.
That's what happens.
Feels bad.
Cooking him up. Scrambled Froggen is now 23 seconds left before he comes back up to the sunny side. 44 minutes in, they're on inhibitor. Say number 2, mid one fell earlier, and they're going to go back for that around the horn. Minion wave is actually crashing nicely where second tier is, so they can work that one in and then head out to get bot lane nice and pushed.
5-9 just moving around the horn, going to get 3 inhibs here. They want to play it very safe, make sure there's no chance of them throwing. This is really the way to do it. You know, they have a massive wave pushing up in bot side, so they can come collect that, Baron buff it up. Top and mid will be pushing in with super minions. They should be able to very easily collect this 3rd inhibitor turret. Now, Echo Fox probably has to make their move before they actually get up there. The Elder Dragon's about to expire, so they can try something. But if the super minions are already in their base, I don't think they have much of a chance to defend.
Fight is on. The ult coming in from Gate. Good amount of safety, but this just means they have to go back, get home guard heals in, and come back. Inhibitor turret's going to follow very fast. The Cadian's trying to get every spear in that he can. You can see the elixirs popped and glowing on the members of Fox as they're trying to get the last bit of damage out of what gold is in their pockets. So many turrets stand for Cloud9, and that definitely means Fox has that much less gold. 86,000 to 71 as some of the final touches are being put on the base. Impact's not the focus after Zanya's. Acadian straight in and straight out of the fight. 65 seconds on the clock, and that's going to be more than enough for the Nexus turrets to go down here in game 1. The Nexus will follow soon after. 22 to 10, 45 minutes in. Cloud9 take down Echo Fox in game 1.
Certainly do. Echo Fox hung around for a long time there, 45 minutes. They make it a hard-fought victory, but it always felt like Cloud9 was in control. They always got more out of the trades, and Echo Fox, it felt like they were always just missing a little bit of something, you know, to make their pick turn into a dragon or to turn into a Baron or turn into a turret. It always felt like they were one step short.
To take Cloud9 this late you know, like you're saying, that one step, they have to find how to get over the edge to get these kills that, yeah, they were down 10 CS in lane, but a lot of times Cloud9 was also semi-overextending. Very, very low health to get out and then would still continue the fight. I think if Echo Fox had a few more of those dives in, maybe a few trades that they didn't feel scared about taking, maybe could have put themselves on top. A lot of maybes, that never really comes to a conclusion. So a great game by Cloud9 once again, and it looks very hard to stop these guys because they don't show you many errors either.
It really does look really, really tough to stop them. Like you talked about, oh, how do you tackle them in draft? Well, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of weaknesses there. Their players, all their lanes seem to be winning. You know, their jungler is great. They just seem to be really good across the board. But that was still a close game. And to your point, there were some really, really close fights. So a little bit better play from Echo Fox, and maybe they win some of those fights. And, you know, you turn one of those big fights in your favor. You're the one who gets the Baron, things like that. And that can put it very easily in Echo Fox's hands to win the game because they're the ones running the double tank composition versus kind of 5 DPS. You can get, at that point, flanked and collapsed on and things like that.
More made it out when Anivia got Baron, right? When Froggen grabbed that first Baron, it wasn't just Acadian. But we'll see. We see here in our first 7-minute replay that Fox always trying, but I felt like Cloud9 did things very slow, methodical, and was always ready to react.
Exactly. The wave wasn't kind of like fully pushed in. They weren't ready exactly to do the dive, so they get spotted out. Impact had TP advantage, and this is key because he was winning his lane, and Poppy had to TP back to that turret. So Impact's able to come down. That gets him the first kill, and then Gate and knocking Impact to safety and himself back in with that blast cone. And this game was a bit of a comedy of errors for Gate. Definitely one of his worst games of the split.
It was unfortunate. We expect, you know, you see the Camille come out and you're like, all right, you know, he's still going to be aggressive, but play those smart. And this just kind of seemed like an uncomfortable sort of play for him. Not that he wasn't playing smart, but it just wasn't all there. Another one we can look at where, you know, Fox, we realized they were starting to get too hungry, and being too hungry makes you chase a little bit.
Yeah, and this one kind of reeked a little bit of desperation where it's like, all right, we're going to get him. We're going to get him. They're committing so much to Jensen that they kind of leave their bot lane behind. Lucky to not even have Keith die there as well, but in the extended trade, one goes down for Fox. Jensen eventually dies, but then Contracts kills off Keith. They lose a TP. They're losing damage on the mid lane turret. So it's like you're the ones making the pick. You end up down in kills, down in summoners, and losing turret damage. So it's something where they definitely overreached. They made a lot of good picks, but they also have to be okay with the fact that sometimes it's not going to work and you need to just give it up and back off. And, you know, a lot of damage coming out across the board from Cloud9. Pretty impressive statistics.
You know, we see the comfort picks coming through. We talked about it a little bit. One for Froggen. Maybe there should be more to come out because you look at what this 10 pick ban phase has done for people, and for Cloud9, there's 2 comforts there. So this is just allowing them to kind of move all their chess pieces into position before they even start the game with the ability, as we said, they can play all the champions in their pool. We'll see if Echo Fox can even up the score when we come back with Game 2 against Cloud9. And as we head to break, we'll take a listen in on the best of the team chatter with the latest edition of Mic Check.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Can everybody hear me?
I'm ganging mid. I'm roaming mid. I'm roaming mid. I'm roaming. What sums does he have?
Guys.
Does he have all sums? Okay, I'll try for it. I'll blow his flash. Blaster flash.
You guys know what we need to do
better
today?
be tilted.
Unless we can get them sitting on the
Let's
flank.
just back now, right now.
Okay, okay.
They have no vision of us.
I'm gonna ulti us. Right here. Right here. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. On bot left of the ulti.
Then we're on bear. We can finish it.
Rush. Finish.
Casting spot.
Nice.
Once, if they get out of laning phase even, that's like unknown summoning Entei, you know? Like,
Did you watch that movie?
what can we do?
You watched that movie, right?
I watched it multiple times. Great movie. Charizard is taking a massive beating, isn't it, though?
Yeah, dude.
I was like, no, Charizard, not you. I remember how he found you on a rock. You almost died.
I TP'd out somewhere, and then I landed on super creeps, and they slapped me, and I died.
Top 갈래? 탑 고, 오케이. 탑 고, 탑. 페어 울티 고, 오케이. 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 탑 푸시. 비벼.
Yeah, I redemption.
Okay,
I can stop.
오케이, 비벼. 이거 끝내 깽겜 난다.
Okay.
비벼. 캐시오.
Stop. 할 수 있어?
캐시오.
로테이프.
나이스. 피니시 게임. 나이스.
Okay, nice.
I had a dream that Froggen told me you suck, so you kick his ass today, okay?
Did you really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
What happened in the dream?
I don't know. I was just like walking along, and Froggen comes up and was like, "Yo, I just want to let you know your AD carry sucks ass." I was like, "What the?
Oh, me?
Fuck yeah!"
Yeah,
it's
you.
dude.
Go on, not. I'm looking not.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Not.
Just back up, just back up.
Watch me.
I got
Nautilus.
Come here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Go. I'm walking up.
You go.
One.
Nautilus.
Nice, not.
Okay,
Okay,
three.
Nice.
Hey,
Nice.
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
Come here.
Come on.